He's so into it. It's not even funny.
Nikki's 100% committed to tonight's episode. You can't blame her.
100%.
Oh, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone that can hear the sound of my voice to this week's edition of the Petty and Ill-Informed podcast, where we venture our petty and ill-informed opinion about a variety of topics. Joining me from America, Nikki.
Hey. That's it. Hey. What's up? Hey,
That's
everyone.
That's you. Okay. Well, and from the Emerald Isle, Kevin.
No.
And from 13 Dorchester Avenue, Kent, Tom.
Evening, everybody.
And welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. How is everyone doing?
I'm very concerned about AI.
AI.
Yeah. Artificial intelligence. Do you want to hear why I'm concerned?
Yeah.
Yes.
This is an AI song that I put together, okay?
To the window, to the wall, till the sweat drops down my balls, until all these bitches crawl. Skeet, skeet, goddamn. Getting drunk in the club she's working. I like to see them females twerking, taking their clothes off, bucking naked. ATL ho, don't disrespect it. 369, damn she fine. Hoping she can suck it to me one more time. Bring your ass right over here, ho, and let me see you get low. To the window, to the...
Okay, that was good.
Okay, you done? Okay.
I'm done. Could you hear it okay?
Yeah, perfect.
All right, there you go. So that's what I'm saying about AI. We're all going to be out of a job.
Yeah, okay. Probably. What's your...
What's my point?
Yeah, what's your point?
I love this. Don't you want to not have a job?
Well,
Don't you want to be like the Wall-E society? I want to just be fat on my couch while I eat stuff and hang out with my friends.
Well, do you remember when that was the Jetsons and you went into work and you pressed one button and that was the end of it?
Yeah.
And it's not like that anymore.
No, people got to actually work. It sucks.
Well, yeah, and then the problem is nobody's going to pay us. In the other world, George Jetson still got paid, unless he was fired by Mr. Spacely. So, sucks.
Yeah, you're right, Gabby. Okay, so last week I made a few comments that one of my co-hosts is objecting to now. Nikki is not tiny. Sorry for saying that. I'm also sorry for expressing any affection towards you at all, Nikki. It won't happen.
Wow. Won't happen again.
Nikki's
ever.
wonderful.
Yeah,
Nikki,
everybody
you're
should show me
wonderful.
the love.
Lordy-
Thank you.
No. There have been objections
It
from a
wasn't an
co-host
infection.
from a co-host who will remain nameless that I was too affectionate last week, so I won't be doing it anymore. Sorry, Nikki, again,
I
for
wasn't.
showing you any sort of consideration or love. I won't do it again. Sorry.
All right. Just, make sure you don't.
I won't. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't
Never
do
again.
it.
Just
Don't do it. So.
Oh, I want to play with you. Where were you playing? Are you on Gary's mod?
What?
What you're playing?
Gary's is a great guy. Great guy.
Oh,
I don't
I thought you were playing what is it? Prop Hunters. Never mind. You're actually playing Ghostbusters.
Yeah, I'm playing Ghostbusters.
Okay.
This is awesome.
Hmm.
What a great conversation
Is
we're
that
having.
Yeah,
an official
so
tie
here's
into the
the
movie
thing.
franchise?
No, I don't know what it is, but I saw a sign move and I thought he was playing Prop Hunters and I got super excited because I love Prop Hunters, but I guess not. I think he's playing stupid Ghostbusters. Is
Yeah.
Kevin's song available online? Gabby really wants you to send her a copy of that song.
That would mean communicating directly with Gabby, which I
And we've told people not to do, but no one listens. Tom talks to her. Like, we can't keep people away. It's the crazy that is Gabby that
yeah.
attracts everyone.
She's the fifth host of the show, really, but not in any, real
Real
way.
capacity. That's right.
Just-
Well,
Just-
that's actually still in Logic Pro, and I actually haven't changed it into a usable file yet. So I will do that this week, Gabby, and I'll probably send it to Richard or Nikki, and they can forward it to you. I mean, otherwise you'd have to be my friend on Facebook.
And that's just yucky.
Yeah, no one wants that. Nikki is a fine co-host and a really good member of the show in a
No, she's not.
professional manner.
No,
Yeah,
she's
I'm awful.
terrible.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Yeah.
No,
Terrible.
okay, so this whole thing started, the whole tiny thing started as I told Gabby what you said. And it's just because I think Richard expected me to be a lot taller and maybe heavier than what I am.
I thought you looked good.
Thanks. He
Yeah.
I'm
wasn't
not
saying
allowed-
anything bad about it.
I'm
but,
not
you know,
allowed to
Gabby-
say that, Kevin.
Gabby was like, "That's hilarious because you're a fat ass," and I was like, "I know, right?" So that's where that came from.
I'm not allowed to say she looked fine or anything.
I didn't say that. No,
or
no,
anything
no,
that could be
that's not-
construed as a compliment. I
That's
can't say that at all.
Well, I didn't think you were short, and I didn't think you were fat.
Thanks.
Yeah,
You
no,
know.
she was average and perfectly reasonably
Average. Yeah.
average. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll remember
Average.
that
Yeah.
forever.
Yeah.
Never gonna pop up
guys,
into an
I-
argument in 20 years.
Tom wants to say something.
I actually had Gabby messaging me. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear.
Okay, what about
Mm.
Gabby messaging you?
Yeah, Gabby messaged you.
Oh, you can? Well, it's my engineer. She said, she just said, whose side are you on? I was like, okay, I'm not really sure. And I had to think about it. And
And then he
I
realized it'd be
quickly
smarter
came
to
to
be
the
on her
conclusion that it's pretty. It's pretty. It would be pretty hard to. Well, I think it'd be pretty rude to message anybody and say you're tiny, or talk to and tell anybody that they're tiny.
He was
because
teasing.
you
It
just don't
wasn't a
comment
bad
on that kind of
thing. No,
No,
it
no,
wasn't
no.
a bad thing. It was not a bad thing. He wasn't being an ass or anything. No, it wasn't offensive at all. It just made me giggle. That's all. I
Oh,
wasn't offended by any stretch of the imagination. No,
I see.
man, it takes so much more than that to offend me. No, I just thought it was funny because, despite the fact that I'm surrounded by giants that are like well over 6'6" in my life on a regular basis, I feel like a pretty large person.
Tall?
Like, just in general, like broad and not really tall, just more like on the inside, I feel larger than what I am.
Yeah.
And I don't know why it's always been that way. Like, I
because-
don't feel like I'm a man. I just feel like I should be like 6'3" or something.
yeah.
Yeah, because that works out well for people. I mean,
Right. No,
women.
it's a person. It's more like my personality, I think, is bigger than my my actual stature. I guess would be the best way to put it.
Well, fair.
But you're certainly full of personality. I'm not. I don't know if I'd describe you as a big character. I mean, mind you, you're probably the life and soul of the party. So I could see that. I could see everybody.
I'm not really. I'm usually napping, honestly. You laugh, but I napped daily while I was in Ireland.
Well, yeah, but you never got past the fact that I think that you were, used to the time zone.
Oh no, I just sleep. I just really, really, I take naps daily in America as well.
Yeah.
I
But
am, as I said, I went on a rant earlier today about how much of a nap slut I am. I don't care
right.
how many times a day. I will take many naps a day, different positions, different places. If I
Well,
can curl up and fall asleep, I'm happening. I'm just a perpetually exhausted pigeon.
well,
Oh,
do you think that's because you're sore most of the time?
Yeah, I'm in pain and or medicated 90% of the time.
Well,
Yeah, and I'm on like a shit ton of not narcotics. I'm not on any narcotics. I'm on a bunch of sedatives. So
yeah.
yeah.
Well, that's a that's a coping mechanism is sleeping. So you don't feel like you know, you're not in pain while you're sleeping. Usually,
Yeah,
or
exactly. Yeah. It's
yeah,
milder. You get to sleep through it.
yeah.
Absolutely.
I,
Glad you understand, but I just really love a good nap too. I've been that
yeah.
way even when I think I started taking naps on the regular when I was like 11 or 12.
Right.
Yeah. It might just be that major depressive disorder too that just makes you really fond of sleeping.
Oh,
oh.
well,
My
I think
wife likes a nap. She likes to have a
Yeah.
good sleep.
I love a good sleep, man. If you don't, I don't know. Those people that are like, I get up at 4 o'clock every morning. I go to bed at 8 o'clock and I never take a nap and I'm just up and going all the time. I'm like, shut up, dude.
do you think that's
Well,
true though?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I have this conversation with with a nurse friend of mine that I work with in PACU, and we talk about it all the time. I'll be in the OR, and the nurses are always like, oh, this weekend, I reconstructed a whole church and, added on to my house and did this and still made dinner for 45 homeless people. Like they're always doing shit. And I'm like, you know what I did this weekend? The same thing I do every weekend. I stayed my ass at home and I did absolutely nothing. And I probably accomplished very little. Like every weekend.
How old are your coworkers?
They between 35 and 65.
And the 65-year-olds?
Yes. Oh my
Uh,
gosh.
uh,
Always doing stuff. Oh, what'd you do? Oh, I tended to the garden and I went to mass 20 times this weekend and it's just ridiculous the crap that they get done. And I look at my friend who's like 45 and I'm like, I am not an adult. Not like that. And she's like, yeah, neither am I. Like just we're not those adults.
huh.
Well, I'd have to say that's perfectly fine, and you are a distinctly average human.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Conspiracy theories that are bullshit, SoFlo.
What?
What do you mean? Conspiracy theories that have no basis at all? Isn't that like any conspiracy theory ever?
No. No, there's always some kernel.
It's a bad
There's always,
idea. Why not? Bad idea. Don't never get.
Flat Earth, hollow
Flat
Earth,
Earth.
firmament,
Flat Earth.
Well,
a boat.
what about Rudy Giuliani's conspiracy theory that Shay Moss and
Not with him. On your own.
her mom tampered with the election, and now he owes $150 million to him.
Good.
I am podcasting.
Is everything okay? What's
But-
going on?
I think Tom's arguing with one of his kids.
Yeah, sorry guys. One of my neither of my kids, my wife is fast asleep, neither of my kids are, and one is insisting on starting some sort of in-house sleepover by going to sleep on his floor, and I'm trying to tell him that's a really bad idea.
Why let him do that, and then he gets nice and tired for tomorrow.
Oh
Yeah,
God,
plus,
don't you
all
start. Don't
the
you take
back
it
problems
like
and
this.
stuff that he'll have.
Yeah. And then he'll want to take naps all the time because you're messing up his back. Although I will say, when I was 18, I could sleep on the floor and just get up the next morning. And
When I was 18, I didn't need sleep, period.
yeah,
When I was 23, I once went from the pub on New Year's Eve to working on New Year's Day. I
yeah,
look back on that and now and think, you fucking idiot, you could have been asleep for that.
Well, yeah, but why would you want to? Because you could get away with it then. I mean,
Yeah.
as time progresses, you can't keep up with that. You know, your body just doesn't allow you. You know,
All right.
I mean,
We're sidetracked again. Okay, conspiracy theories that are bullshit.
yeah.
What?
How about 9/11? How about 9/11
What's
being
the
an
mum?
inside job?
No, you're not.
Think that that's absolutely bullshit.
You're not.
I think it is.
You
I
see-
think that we knew about it. I don't necessarily think it's an inside job. I think we let it happen.
No, just no.
It's a good chance, trust me.
There is a mute button, Tom. You know.
Yeah, I think I'm going to mute him while this is happening.
No, but how do you know that he wants to come back?
Yeah, okay, he can unmute himself.
That's all I'm saying. I mean, it's just really. I mean, as far as I know, everybody in this group has ADHD, at least, or not ADHD or some kind of a manic thing or something like that, where it's very hard to differentiate.
Focus.
Yeah, focus problems. Yeah, and so that's life. And
Speaking of not being able to focus, why do you think that it was an inside job, Nikki?
I said, why do I think it was?
Yeah, why do you think?
I said I don't think it was. I think that that we knew about it for months beforehand, because there's been rumors that they had like heads up for quite some time and they just let it happen.
well, is it that they let it happen, or is it that they ignored the intelligence?
Maybe they just ignored the intelligence.
I think that's it. And then once it happened, because of the fact that the people were Saudi Arabian, that they let them get on the plane, because that's how that went. You know what I mean? It's as we used to say, Saudi Arabia is willing to fight to the last American soldier, and then they'll give up. But it's strange bedfellows. You know what I mean? It's kind of like the fact that in the Palestinian state or not state,
Yeah.
we're just letting them massacre people at this point in time. And
Well, I mean, those people stole their land, so screw them.
well, all I'm saying is it I understand that they want to get rid of Hamas and everything like that, but
I'm firmly on the side of Palestine. Okay, I'm absolutely, completely 100% on the side of Palestine.
I wasn't always, but at this point in time, it's asymmetric warfare, and it's just at that point in time they're just seemingly bombing people for no reason, and then some IDF soldier just killed 3 of the hostages. That's what I just heard, and so
Right. Anyway, conspiracy theories. Right. SoFlo also thinks that they knew it was going to happen and ignored it.
Yeah. I think that failure intelligence is a pretty common thing, and it doesn't always circle up from the people on the ground to the people in charge, or there was a rumor that sort of that Oma bomb or the Enniskillen bomb, in Northern Ireland, they knew about it in advance and just sort of ignored it, and then ripped that page out of the book, and so they ignored it. But that's always the conspiracy theory, is that in order to, if you've got an informant, you can't stop some things. You know what I mean? Because if you have an informant and you stop something like that from happening, then they take out the informant. And sometimes they say that the intelligence is worth more than the 13 people that died. Now, I don't know if that's true, but that's one. And then, like when Iraq invaded Kuwait, they thought that the British government, knew about that, and that's one of the reasons why they landed the plane in Kuwait, because they had SAS soldiers on it who basically got off the plane at that point.
You know what
And then
SAS stands for?
Special Air Service.
Super Army Soldier.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, that's the type of thing that they are not invincible, but they are very well trained. But that's the way that goes. Let's see, what's another one? Did we land on the moon? Let's discuss that one.
That's
I
a
think
good
that-
one because,
yeah.
like, the flag's moving.
Yes.
I believe we landed on the moon.
I do as well.
Well, lots of people have said that, that because of the way that the camera was basically attached to the suit, that they wouldn't be able to take that good of photos. That's one thing. And, again, that the flag is waving or looks like it's waving. That's been explained away by the fact that because it's on a metal post, that was just coming down through the post and started it moving. If you were to put something in a vacuum and put it down, there's a chance that it would move. That's what they say. I don't know, but lots of people say that it was filmed in the middle of Area 51, for example.
No.
I don't think that's true either, or that
That
who's the-
director.
Yeah.
I know who you're talking about, the one that is a sex offender.
Sex offender. The
Like
guy that
children.
there's
What the
too
heck
many.
is his name? No,
There's
but
too many to differentiate. No, it was the guy who did
It
supposedly.
begins with an R. I
Kubrick.
know.
Yes.
Yeah, Kubrick. He did
Yes.
2001.
A Space Odyssey.
Yeah, Space Odyssey. Yeah.
And A
Mhm.
Clockwork Orange. And Full
he's-
Metal Jacket, which is
and
one of
he's
my
supposed
favorite
to-
films ever.
And he's supposed to be some kind of kitty fiddler.
I think so.
Wasn't that the
I
other
think
one?
some kind of sex offender.
Well, Roman Polanski
Yeah,
never
that's the
came back to America because he was accused of that.
Yeah, that other one that got done for being a sex offender. What's his face? The fat one with the beard.
Harvey Weinstein.
Yeah, he started a petition to have Roman Polanski pardoned. And I was like, well, that makes perfect sense now with the benefit of hindsight.
And whatever happened with Kevin Spacey?
He lost his career,
mhm.
but that was about it.
He was cleared.
Yeah.
Was he cleared?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's one of those things where are people innocent because they're clear? I mean or
Yes.
because you can't prove it. I mean, that's the thing.
That's
Yeah.
the foundation of the entire justice system. Innocent until proven guilty. If you say they were proven innocent but they're still guilty, then that's just fundamentally wrong with the entire system.
Well, not in Scotland. Like I said, in Scotland, there's three systems. There's guilty, innocent, and not proven. Not
Yeah.
proven is a actual thing. You go free, but they basically say, yeah, we think you did it, but there's not enough proof.
Well, that's the cop out. That's the Alfred plea cop out, isn't it?
Well, yeah, but Alfred plea means that you.
I hate that. I
you
hate
say
it
that-
so much.
You say that you're innocent, but you think that the evidence or the way that they would
It's
do it,
pleading
prove-
no contest. I hate
Yeah,
it so much.
yeah,
It
would-
shouldn't be a thing.
that the evidence would prove the likelihood that you did do it. Which, you know,
It's
I
just
mean,
it's a anyway. We're getting sidetracked again. Where the fuck were we? Flat Earth. Okay, flat Earth. The Earth obviously isn't flat. No, we weren't at flat Earth. Moon landing. Right, we were at the moon landing.
yes.
Okay. So here's the thing, right? I think that spite is one of the greatest motivators on this planet, and JFK wanted to, beat the Russians in the getting to the moon first competition. And, this was during the Cold War when tensions were very high. And as I've been recently proven completely right about my Jodie Foster theory, America was willing to do whatever it took, to beat the Russians. And that included going to the moon.
Stupid.
Well,
Nikki, I was right, okay?
You are not right. Just
I
because
was
a cartoon made like a really stupid.
It
Well-
proved me completely right.
Well, if you think about things like the Cuban Missile Crisis, where the the Russians had a base 90 miles from Florida, going to the moon first makes sense because of the fact that I believe they were afraid that the Russians would actually put some kind of a ballistic rocket tipped with nuclear devices on the moon, which is one of the reasons why we're afraid of the Chinese establishing a base on the moon.
Turning the moon into a Death Star.
Death Star. Yeah. I mean, you laugh, but it would work. It would work. I mean, it might take 3 days, but, how are you going to stop that? Not with the technology we had.
Gabby,
So
you can do whatever you want in the chat within reason. So, yeah, you can post the link.
Yeah. So I mean that's what I'm saying is there's a kernel, I think, of truth to that. I mean it's sort of like, have we been visited by extraterrestrials, or are UFOs some kind of a top secret military thing that we're not supposed to know about?
I don't think that we're competent enough to make a top secret, thing that nobody knows about. I think that aliens have to be real because I have no faith in our ability to be competent enough to design these two super high-tech jet fighters and not tell anyone about it.
Well, I mean, how long was the B-2 bomber and the F-117 kept secret before we knew that we'd had it? I mean, wasn't it that they used the F-117 fighter in Bosnia, and then they shot it down. Shot one down, and then the parts of that went directly to the Soviet Union, and
Hail Hydra.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like during the Cold War, where, Jodie Foster ruined it, I'm proven right now. That, we would have done anything. And, that includes going to the moon. So.
Yeah. So what you're saying is, if Jodie Foster's still alive, so what we should do is send her to states that we find terrorist states.
I think that prison's too good for her after what she did, that I've been proven completely right about. I think that bring about the downfall of Western civilization, is more than a prison sentence, because I was proven right about all of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember seeing that on ITV News at 10. They said
Yep.
Jodie Foster was terrible. What do you think about Nigel Farage coming in third on? What does that say about Britain? That he came in third. He got so many votes that he came in third on I'm a Celebrity.
It says that we're a bunch of fucking morons. What was he even doing on I'm a Celebrity in the first place? Why can't people just go, oh, hang on a minute, he's on I'm a Celebrity reality TV, which is the lowest form of content available to mankind. This guy is obviously a self-serving piece of shit. Why should we give him anything? Why are people so stupid, Kevin? That's what I want to know. Why can't they see through people like Nigel Farage, like Trump, like Hitler? Why do we keep making the same mistake over and over again?
Because it's the cult of personality, and you've got to have someone to blame. If you think about it, what was Hitler's problem? The
He
Illuminati.
attacked Russia during
Yeah.
the winter, and he allied with the Japanese.
No, but how did he get to power? He alienated his own citizens. You see what I'm saying? The Jews were the problem. The Jews were the rats and the vermin and everything else. No,
That came much later. He got to power because we messed up the end game of World War One, and Germany was basically a third world country, and he promised them something better.
Right, but what I'm saying is that he would.
I was actually talking to my brother about this earlier.
Yeah.
Because if you get a time machine and you go back in time and you kill Hitler in 1933,
Right,
he'll be remembered as a hero.
right.
Which, and then he had it all. He was he did a lot of good, and then he went completely batshit insane.
Well, you see, this is the thing where a lot of people say that, but here's the. I mean, and I don't want to draw a direct correlation between Trump and Hitler, but if you think, well, because Trump never was in the army, but still, But what I'm saying is that he, infiltrated this right-wing group and learned how to control it, and he was very charismatic. He then decided that he's going to take over by doing what? Marching up to the Bavarian, the government house and taking it over. So he basically tried to have a coup. At which point in time, then he was put in jail for 5 years because people felt sorry for him. He was only given 5 years for treason. He writes Mein Kampf. Mein Kampf blames the Jews, the communists, and
Jodie
basically
Foster.
scumbag. Yeah, Jodie Foster. He calls them rats and vermin, and basically then it's just like Trump's people tried to overtake the Capitol, and then he's giving impassioned speeches like Hitler did at his trial about that, and Trump has said things like Democrats are communists and vermin. It's a direct lift, in my opinion. Then he gets voted into the Reichstag. He never had more than 30% of the vote. And then whenever he took over, everybody thought it was great. You know what I mean? It was all,
It was great. Nobody cared that he marched troops into the Rhineland. Nobody cared about Austria. They were all totally up for it.
Right.
And
But
then,
he was just taking back the land that was robbed from him, supposedly. And so, that was the thing. And then he decided, using the Schlieffen plan that they tried to use in the First World War, to just replicate it. And that's what I'm saying is that, but
it's amazing to me that he just went so completely batshit nuts so quickly.
I think he was always crazy. I just think he's crazy. I think he was always crazy. But that's just the cult of personality. Like I said, the cult of personality is huge, and people stop using logic whenever they get into that sort of situation. And and then they,
Yoko Ono had John Lennon killed. I've never heard that conspiracy theory before in my entire life so far.
well,
What
do
do
you
we think about that? Yeah. I don't think that Yoko Ono is capable of seeing other human beings as real things to the point that she'd bother to try and have someone killed. I think Chapman was I guess you'd call him an incel these days. I mean, not that John Lennon wasn't a massive piece of shit, because he was,
Yeah.
abandoning his own son and, just going up his own arse.
But
He deserves to be shot.
Well, if John Lennon was making a ton of money from royalties at that point in time, how did Yoko fare after John Lennon was assassinated?
Well, I don't think anyone cared about her anymore.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that's the thing, that there's no reason to have your husband killed, in my opinion, unless you're being abused or
you want a divorce.
You can make a lot of money out of it.
No, some people genuinely, will rather murder their husbands than get divorced.
Yeah, because maybe she would have not fared very well in it, But I think that's a money issue. You know what I mean? That's how I look at it. Love and money is a big motivating factor for a lot of people.
What do you think, Tom and Nikki, about that?
I don't think Yoko killed John.
Yeah, I think it'd be very unlikely for Yoko Ono to kill John Lennon. I mean, I don't know why that theory actually exists, and is there any weight behind it at all? What's the reasoning? What you just said about the divorce thing sounds very flimsy to me.
Well, what do you think of Sirhan Sirhan killing Robert Kennedy and supposedly being a CIA asset that was brainwashed into, was brainwashed and was given an attack word to kill John F. Kennedy. I mean, not Robert Kennedy. What do you think about that?
I can barely understand that idea.
Yeah.
Well, this is the thing, the MK Ultra sort of mind control thing that causes people to, be brain.
There's a good example of a conspiracy theory that sounds nuts, but actually turned out to be completely true. MK Ultra.
Right? Everything that goes with it. I mean,
the implications of that whole thing are mind-boggling, and the fact that it turned out to be true is just unbelievable to this day to me.
And my thing is I don't think they ever got rid of it. I think they've just changed the project name and maybe a little bit here and there on it. They probably moved from LSD. They've called it something else, and here we go. MK Ultra Part 2, Electric Boogaloo, except for name something else. Yeah.
Right. But
I don't think we've ever given up on that. Just like I don't think we ever gave up on the CIA Stargate project. I think that we still are trying to figure out how to use, psychics to fucking hack into other people's.
Oh yeah.
Bases.
The remote viewing plan thing is real. The remote viewing idea is real. But
they've declassified it. It is.
Yeah. And I think, the thing about it is, right? So Japan invented methamphetamine in the lab. LSD was the U.S. government invented in the lab. And, bennies, or what was that? All those different types of thing. Let's see. I don't know. What was Benzedrine or something like that? That was invented in a British lab. So here's the thing: the major things now that we really don't like, or what became a problem in the 1960s, 1970s, was invented by, governments for the purpose of warfare, and nobody ever talks about that. You know what I mean? And then you have a war on drugs, and then, but anytime you have a war on anything, it never works, right? The war on drugs obviously didn't work. It's gotten worse.
Yeah.
We were supposed to. Nixon had a war on cancer. Show me how that worked. It doesn't. So, the most thing that you can know is if the U.S. government declares war on anything, it's going to be around for a long time.
Yeah.
So yeah, don't declare a war on poverty.
Yeah, because we're in trouble.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing that is a funny thing. I mean, it's like David Cameron coming back into the British government after all that, because obviously five guys run Britain.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they all went to college together. So I mean, you could make the argument that those folks are the Illuminati. They run everything. And that's the thing where take it or leave it. That's what it is. They're supposed to be, quote unquote enemies, and that it all works out to be sort of the same. So
Yeah.
is that a conspiracy theories that all political parties secretly work together to
I don't
I
think
don't think that's a
I think it's just
conspiracy
fact.
theory. Yeah, I think that's just conspiracy fact.
yeah that they that the whole thing. I mean, I do say that because in a lot of ways you've got to divide the population into two different distinct parts so that they don't think of their own self-interest. You know what I mean? I mean, that's the thing. Why are we protecting these people who are millionaires and multi-billionaires and thinking that they are going to do the right thing for us?
Yeah, they're absolutely not. They only care about their own interests.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Richie Sunak and Trump were very, very rich people, and Joe Biden's a rich man, and everybody that's in Congress is a rich man, and that's the thing. But
I've got a lot to say about all that.
Yeah, go ahead, Tom.
Go on.
Thanks. Well, it's there's first of all, you guys are completely right. The rich get richer and the poor get poorer, and it's crazy that there was almost basically no one was brought to justice or held account for the greed, selfishness, and complete irresponsibility that led to the 9/11. No, sorry, not 9/11 at all. 2008. No, slip of the mind. 2008 financial crisis. Nobody was held to account for that at all, as far as I know, and it was crazy how it happened. And there's various. If you watch like all the major films about it, you get a really complete picture. I mean, I'm talking about. I mean, I know they're all. I mean, one of the reasons you get a complete picture is because it helps you distill fact from fiction. I'm thinking of Margin Call, which is a movie about basically a dramatization, a fictionalized dramatization, but all too believable, of the first 24 hours of the 2008 financial crisis. It's brilliant. It's an amazing film. I can't recommend it enough. It's on Amazon Prime in this country. Margin Call. Then there's The Big Short, which is great. And then there is what's the one the documentary that won the Academy Award that year for best Inside Job. Yeah, Inside Job. And then there's a couple of others whose names escape me just now, but it's I mean, you know, people are, you know, banged to rights for all kinds of things. Nobody paid for that. Nobody.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and it was outrageous. Now there's a really interesting story in the news that I wanted to talk about. Let's have a look. Hang on. Hang on. I pinged it to you earlier, Richard. Let me find it. Oh, there we are. This is as corrupt as it gets. During the COVID crisis, a Tory peer called Michelle Mone or Monet, I'm not quite sure, Mone, her name is spelled. She basically said, "Oh, I've got a company that can I know a company that can fast track us proper PPE equipment, you know, and get us to the front of the queue. Just give me the government's money." And the government gave them millions. They gave her absolutely millions, but the company was basically her. She, or to all intents and purposes, it seems, she tried to deny it, and has now gone on record as saying she regrets denying it, because she is being sued by the UK government. Well, this company, PPE MedPro, is being sued by the UK government for £122 million plus costs for breach of contract and unjust enrichment. And it's being investigated by the National Crime Agency. Because the equipment they got was crap, useless, very cheaply made, and she directly pocketed, or maybe through a back door, but she clearly pocketed hugely from this, and it was outrageous. It wasn't a major headline for a little while, but it has become one now. And yeah, it's she denied involvement at first, but she's given that up, and she is going to pay.
Yeah.
Yeah, she is going to suffer for this, and is going to find her. I can't see her getting away with this.
No.
She's tried to just do this massive profiteering thing, and it's been totally corrupt. And yep, it is. It's just absolutely disgraceful. It's complete. I don't know. What's the word? It's beyond oligarchy. It's probably just corruption. It's probably the perfect word for it. But yeah, that happened. So I thought that was a very interesting news story. That's still ongoing.
Yeah. Do you mind if I talk about something that this is a conspiracy theory of my own making, and but it touches on what Tom was saying about 2008, right? So okay, remember when Bud Light made those 6 cans for Dylan Mulvaney, and then at that point in time, everybody on the conservative side said, "Oh, you should boycott Bud Light. You shouldn't do it." I have a theory about that. Why did they make such a big deal out of literally nothing? Because I think conservatives, like podcasters and that, everybody who did it, said, "Oh yeah, you should not do it." Bought short or bought long, excuse me. And so at that point in time, they thought, okay, we can tank Budweiser. And then once it drops 30 points or whatever, you buy long. And buying long just means that you put in an option, and it doesn't cost very much, to be honest with you. You put in an option that you can buy stock or sell stock at at a lower price. And so at that point in time, knowing that it's going to go back up, because Budweiser uh, uh, you know that's going to go back up because Budweiser owns like 130 different brands around the world. And so I think that they tanked it on purpose, knowing that in 6 months or something like that, the stock was going to go back up where it was. And say, for example, you bought long on 1,000 on 1,000 shares, you'd have 30 grand right now. You would have made 30 grand. And these people don't, buy 1,000. So let's say, you would have bought, 100,000 shares, or the options on 100,000 shares. You'd be millions richer. I think that's what it was, because I said that at the time. I said something stinks, because why is everybody getting upset about this trans person? Why?
Yeah.
It's literally a nothing. It's literally a nothing.
Well, I'm going to just have my disagreement squeak here.
Yeah.
I guess the main reason people were pissed off about it is because Dylan Murphy, whatever his name is, isn't actually trans. Is just, pretending to be trans for money and attention.
Well, yeah. Well, that might be true, but I think that the scandal was for money and attention.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's true.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. So, this whole idea of go woke, go broke, and then that never happens because it basically just rebounds back up. I think the go woke, go broke thing is just to take stupid people and make them into drones that then go out and destroy stuff and won't tank this stock and try to get people to get away from it. And because and most investors are not seasoned, and yet they can go on and buy stocks and everything like that. And people who know will go. I mean, it's like, to be honest with you, you can go. I mean, I've been out with certain. I do know a multi-millionaire. Let's just put it that way. And you can sit at lunch with him, and he can look at the phone and go, "I just made $20 million." You know what I mean? It's just like that. Just like that. That's more than I'll ever see in my life. And because of that, they become incredibly wealthy at the expense of us. So that's what I mean, and that's the idea that I go through. I mean, the stock market's as high as it's ever been, and yet everybody are saying the economy sucks. I mean, the stock market is as high as it's ever been. There's low unemployment. Inflation is dropping, and yet they're like, "Oh, okay, Biden sucks." You know what I mean? How does that work? It's because they're programmed to say that, because of the divisions that have been caused. And that's what I'm saying. There's always...
And Jodie Foster.
Yes. Well, what do you think about Kamala Harris not running with Joe Biden again, and we put in Jodie Foster as the person running for vice president? What would you think of that?
I would not be a fan, Kevin.
Huh?
I hope they don't run with Biden as president. He's massively old, and he's in legal trouble himself now.
Yeah.
Nikki, what do you think?
I don't know. I zoned out. I'm being honest.
Yeah. Well, here's what I think. The thing that I'll say about that is Trump can do terrible things and nothing sticks to him. And
Correct.
Biden can do some good things and nothing sticks. Nothing really sticks to. I mean, so anything good that he does, nobody thinks about. And anything bad that Trump does, nobody cares. I mean, that's just the way it is. So I think
they're both garbage.
Yeah.
But
just
different
is Biden, what is he, 3 years older than Trump?
Yeah.
I mean, basically, I mean, he's made out to be some, you know, crazy old man.
Geriatric.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and yet Trump, who's massively overweight, and eats a cheeseburger.
Insane.
Yeah, eats a hamburger every day. He's supposed to be the picture of health. Give me a break.
Living
Yeah,
the
we're
dream.
we either have a dictator, right? Like a
Yeah.
crazy narcissist,
Yes.
or someone that has dementia. Like, we don't
Right.
have another choice. It's one of those two things. Do we want someone who flat out has come out and said that if he goes and gets reelected, he's never leaving?
Yeah, and also that he's going after his political foes. And
Yeah.
like I said, he's not El Duce, but he's El Duque.
Yes.
Yeah. And I'll probably be chased out of this country because I said that to,
Nah.
100 people.
100 people.
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean it's a shit sandwich here.
Hmm.
I say don't come to America. That's my thing. I could be chased out of the country. Please chase me out of the country.
Yeah. Well, that's an interesting thing. I mean, I've found that more people have said, good for you that you're going to take up permanent residency in Ireland. I would wish I could go there because I'm very afraid of the fact that Trump will get back in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people are.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people even in my life that are just afraid of the US and the way it's going in general, because it's really a safety issue for them
Right.
now.
Yeah. Well, what about, okay, so let me conspiracy theory wise, is America, because I've heard this conspiracy theory as well, that America is becoming the Handmaid's Tale story. Do you think that's true?
I think you give us another 50 years if we continue to go the way we are. Absolutely. But I don't think that it's quite that way. I think that's the way the incels wish it was going to be. And I think that's the way that a lot of, I hate to say this, a lot of conservatives, not all, but there are several, many conservatives who would be more than happy for that to be a legitimate thing. But I don't think so. I think you give us another 50 years and either we're going to grow and be better, or that is our future. That and idiocracy. And I know people get really pissed off, but we really are getting dumber. Like, in some ways we're getting smarter, but really the smart population is kind of dropping off. I think because of all of the conveniences we have and stuff. And now we're kind of conditioning our brains to only take in spurts of like 45 seconds to 2 minutes of information before going off somewhere else.
Yeah.
In 20 years, are people going to have the discipline and attention span to deal with being a doctor?
Yeah. I see what you're saying. So I mean, that's the thing is,
because I don't have the discipline to go back to college. I mean, I plan on it, but I know I'm going to suck, and it's going to, just me as a human being, that is not my forte, is discipline of any kind. But, I can't, no, in 20 years, kids that were raised on TikTok and not getting full information and just the laziness that kind of goes. I'm not saying future generations are lazy at all. I love Gen Z very, very much. But, let us be lazy, and we're going to be.
well, yeah, but I think that's the human condition. Yeah.
Absolutely. The path of least resistance is the right one. So why
Right.
wouldn't we just accept our 3 minutes of attention span and shit go to, and get real? We
Right.
don't know any better. I mean, some of our kids can't read the Constitution because it was written in cursive.
Yeah. Well, most conservatives can't read the Constitution, obviously.
I mean, just in general.
Zing.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the thing. They think that certain things are in it that aren't, and but that's the. I mean, and if you ask how many amendments there are, once you get past 4, nobody cares.
Yeah,
And
that's very true.
you know, the thing that I'll say is, you know, I find Generation Z to be very hard workers. It's just that they have no opportunities like we had.
Yeah, and the thing is like also Gen Z and young millennials don't take the
Yes.
shit from their bosses. I
Right.
can't. I live with a young millennial. She might be Gen Z. She's one of the two. She's 24. So
Mhm.
anyway, living with her and listening to what her generation will and will not put up with, it doesn't
Mhm.
bode well for older generations in management if they don't know how to treat people with respect and dignity. Like, you know, I don't have any kind of management position at my work, but
Right.
there's a handful of people who treat me like I do. And so I'll send people home from work. Last week I had to actually get onto one of my coworkers and she respected me for it because I went to her in love and was like, "Hey, listen, usually I do not bust you out about being the laziest damn person ever, but today
Right.
you're affecting my job. Can you please just keep an eye on the thing?" I was very nice about it. You know, it was just like, you're affecting my job now. And she knows I'm not going to go tell anybody else. And so
All
she
right.
shaped up for me because
Right.
I asked her nicely. Whereas a lot of bosses that are older wouldn't have been respectful. I've seen older bosses just be lazy.
Right.
That's a big thing with older
Yeah.
bosses too, is being lazy. And Gen Z, they won't take it. They
No.
absolutely will not accept to be treated less than human. And I
Right.
think older generations like me, I look at it and I'm like, man, that's inspiring because
Yeah.
I was always told just suck it up, you know, stick your nose to the grinder and someone's going to appreciate you. And they are not that generation of people. They're like, if you don't appreciate me, I'm not sticking my nose to the grinder. I'm not going to be your best employee because I know that you're not going to appreciate it.
Right.
You know,
Well, do you think, Nikki, honestly, that they part of the thing about you know, that kind of boldness is a reaction to the fact that they're sort of the beaten generation. They're
absolutely. I mean, it's,
they're probably never gonna own a house. You know
yeah.
what I mean? And so they're renting, and the
Hmm.
opportunities are shrinking because they don't get paid what they're worth.
Yep. And then they got elder millennials like myself who are like, hey, I'm 40. This fucking sucks. And you don't have to take all that,
Yeah.
you know? So their parents are also like endorsing their behavior, like, nah, don't let people treat you like that. Don't let people treat you like crap.
Mhm.
They're, you know, because I want to say we're the generation that started out that couldn't really get anything. Like we've been beaten since I can remember, and I'm like, guys, we're adults. Guys, we're adults. You know, it's like, guys, we're 40. I'm sorry that we ruined the movie industry and movie theaters and restaurants and newspapers and whatever the hell else we've ruined. But you know, we struggling. Most people my age don't have houses either. They're still renting.
Right.
So yeah, I think it has a lot to do with like an uprising of the working class going, we're not dealing with this shit anymore.
Right.
We're not going
And
to be treated badly for minimum wage.
right. Well, yeah, it's not worth it because to be honest with you, how hard is it to get another minimum wage job? It's not.
Not at all. Not.
Right. Yeah.
I
So,
mean, it's not bad to, you know, what's really sad is if I wasn't chronically ill, I could go literally a mile and a half down the street, not have any kind of degree or certificate to my name and work at Amazon for the same price I'm getting paid right now.
right. Yeah.
And I work in the medical field in surgery. So,
Right.
like, what's the point? I try to tell people not to go to college. I'm that person. You don't have to
Right.
go to college
Well,
to
I
make
think
good money.
yeah. Well, I think that you know, from that standpoint, you look at it from those you know, there's certain things that you really uh are true. I mean, our craftsmen now or
Hmm.
trade workers actually better paid than
Then
than
college
white collar
people,
workers. Yeah, white collar
absolutely.
workers. Yeah, I think so too. I think that actually kind of started for, whenever I was working.
Yeah, and guess what?
we-
You don't have to worry about going into debt, because a lot of the times they'll let you go to school. They'll teach you how to be schooled or teach you how to be an electrician, and you just work for them for 2 years or
right,
X amount of years to pay it off. They don't have that with nursing or anything like
right.
that.
Yeah,
Well, actually, they do have it for nursing in some hospitals. They will pay for you to go to college,
right.
but that is the exception rather than the rule. College
Right.
is overrated, and unless you just want to be a doctor or a lawyer or something like that, you don't need it.
Okay. Yeah, I think you're right. What's the next conspiracy theory, Richard?
I
You
think
come up
we're
with.
at I think we're at time, are we not?
We
Are we
are
gonna
at
keep going?
time.
We can keep going. I don't care.
Yeah, I
We're
don't
at
know,
time.
Nikki. Me and you basically sucked the oxygen out of the room this time. I apologize. I apologize.
On
But
that bombshell, I'm going to wrap things up. There was some complaints about my behavior last week from one of my co-hosts that shall remain
There
nameless.
was not. Oh my
I
god.
can only hope this week I have behaved better and made them
Oh
feel
my gosh.
comfortable.
I think that's a conspiracy theory.
I think
you-
that is a
I didn't
conspiracy
hear
theory.
anything that
I
was
think
bad.
that's an overreaction to what was said. Thank you very much. Like
That's-
a woman, just like a woman.
Anyway, I can only hope that
I have
was
no
better
idea what
behaved
that
this
means.
week and didn't make that person, whoever it was, feel as uncomfortable as I apparently did last week.
Well,
Wow.
next time
Yeah.
treat me better.
That's right. Why are you fucking with Kevin like that?
Yeah. Why are you messing
Anyway.
with me?
So that wraps us up with this week. We will return next week, despite the hopes of many. It is good night from me, and it's good night from them.
Remember, to the windows, to the walls, to the sweat dripping down my balls. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry
Christmas.
Christmas.
How charming. Bye, everyone.